Hello everyone, it's your bud. Now in today's video, this is just a quick thing, but I just wanted to talk to you guys about something. Do you think there were multiple clones of Darth Vader? Do you think it's possible that Darth Vader was ever cloned? Can you confirm with 100% certainty that every moment that we saw of Vader is the exact same being? I can't say so. Disney messed up the lore, but it did make some interesting things. I would love to know what the multiple clones of Vader would actually be like. Maybe their sullen personality is the fact that they don't know exactly who they are and they're a bit lost and they're a bit confused. They can't quite remember who they're supposed to be. Were they raised to be a Jedi? Are they still a Jedi? They can't remember. Are they a clone? Are they not a clone? Are they the real one? That would be a very interesting way to explain Vader's lack of choosing between the light and the dark. But if you put the fact that every single Vader we saw might be a clone who's trying to reconcile their memories, their teachings of the Jedi Order, their family. Are they even the father? Was that even the father of Luke, or was it a confused clone that thought it was? That would be very, very interesting. Now, this is all just from a few things. Number one, this scene right here, we are watching a scene from Rogue One where Darth Vader is here in this backed tank. Now, I think that's what they're called. Backed tanks are like tanks of healing liquid, and Darth Vader is being stored inside one. So Inspector Krennic right now is coming to visit Darth Vader on his castle in Mustafar, and Darth Vader's being taken out of his cooling thing. You can barely see the reflection of him right there. There's his face right there. And yeah, so here's the liquid. So here's my thing. I never saw the third of the Disney Star Wars movies, but in it was apparently revealed. Now, I did know all about the leaks. I knew about the leaks way before the movie actually came out, but I never actually saw the movie. So I'm gonna talk about a bunch of things here, and maybe you might know the answers. So in the last of the Disney Star Wars movies, it was made known that the Palpatine that we have come to know is actually a clone. Now, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to be referring to the original Palpatine as Space Palpatine, and the other one as Chancellor Palpatine or Clone Palpatine. So, Chancellor Palpatine, the one that we all know, turned out to be a clone of Space Palpatine, the original. And in that scene, we also saw that there was a whole bunch of Snokes in different tanks. So there were multiple Snokes in multiple tanks. And so that meant that Snoke was a creation of Space Palpatine. So Space Palpatine made Snokes and made them for some purpose, and then he also made a clone of himself. He made the clone of Palpatine, or Chancellor Palpatine, and that made the Empire, and then blah blah blah. I don't really understand this because Disney just ruined the lore so much, but here's where my question comes in. Right now, we are looking at a Vader being taken out of a Bacta tank, and this is on Mustafar, and this is in Rogue One. So this is before the reveal that we find out that apparently all of these Snokes were clones, and apparently Palpatine was a clone in all of this. But here's my question. Now that the lore of clone Palpatine and clone Snoke and all of this has come into existence, can we actually be sure that there was ever an actual Vader? How many times could Vader have possibly been cloned? Could every single time we see him in a Bacta tank be a different clone? Now, I immediately wanted to dismiss this idea because I thought there's only one true Vader. There only ever should be one true Vader. I know you can probably barely see him there, but this is the clearest picture we get. I'll just skip forward a bit more. So yeah, there's only one true Vader, right? Well, that made me a little curious. What would a bunch of Vader clones be? Would they be like the Knights of Ren, perhaps? Would they all take on different personalities? Should they be part of a collective? What would a collective of Anakin Skywalkers be like? Now, if Anakin Skywalker really was born from the Force, and then eventually Darth Vader came to be in service of Clone Sidious or Chancellor Palpatine, which is again a clone of the Space Palpatine. So this is the order of operations so far. So number one, Space Palpatine exists. Then Space Palpatine makes a clone, and that is Chancellor Palpatine. Chancellor Palpatine becomes Darth Sidious, and he takes on his apprentice, Darth Vader. Now, from that point onwards, how can you be sure that there are not multiple clones of Darth Vader, just as Space just as Space Palpatine has made multiple clones of Snoke, and just as Space Palpatine had made a clone of himself, how can we be sure that the clone of Space Palpatine, or Chancellor Palpatine, didn't use cloning technology on Vader? So yes, this tank right here, where we see Vader being, I guess, decanted, for lack of a better term, is this the real Vader? Could this be a clone of Vader? It intrigues me. Do you think it would be cooler right now if we found out there were multiple Vader clones? Or do you think it'd be much better if the Disney Star Wars lore never ever mixed with the extended universe lore? I know they're just sort of all, I can't piece things together right now, but is this the thing we're looking at here in Rogue One? So Rogue One took place after the prequels, but before the original series. It takes place, so it actually ends with that scene where the ship is running away from Darth Vader's ship and Princess Leia has to escape and give R2-D2 the plans. That takes place immediately after Rogue One. We know that a being named Anakin Skywalker put himself into service of a being named Chancellor Palpatine. However, Chancellor Palpatine is not the real Palpatine, and with the amount of clone Snokes that were in I can't remember the name of it because I never saw it, the Rise of Skywalker. So in the Rise of Skywalker, we know that clones of Snokes are just experiments. We know that Space Palpatine created a clone of himself. I mean, doesn't it make you curious? Does that mean there's a possible chance that Vader was Vader ever really Vader, or was Vader? So here's the final thing. Was Vader never Vader? Was Vader always Vader? Was there only one Vader? Or could it be possible that Vader is like this clone thing, sort of like there's the clone army, but then imagine if instead of the clone army there was this higher tier of clone, and that was the Vader clones. It kind of makes sense. So Space Palpatine makes a clone of himself, which becomes Chancellor Palpatine. Chancellor Palpatine has the clone army, or maybe the clone army was made by Space Palpatine, I don't know. But then if you have a higher rank of clones that are all like, So apparently, yeah, in the, Rise of Skywalker, didn't they say that there are Sith troopers now? Which, are they clones or are they not clones? Because if there's Sith troopers that are clones, and there was the clone army that weren't Sith, then it would make sense that there would be Darth Vaders that could be cloned too. I don't think George Lucas would have ever come upon the idea of cloning Vader in quite a similar way that I'm discussing this now, but now that the whole, Disney just was not, they were so irreverent towards the actual, lore of Star Wars that they just messed it up so much. So now that things are in such a state of chaos, I kind of almost want to say that maybe there never ever was maybe there was only one true Vader, and Starkiller, his apprentice, killed him. And ever since then, the Vaders that we've seen have just been these decanted, sort of backed up memories, these clones, these lesser things of Vader. What do you think? Do you think there should have only ever be one true Vader? Do you think that the new Disney Star Wars has some good points by making a Space Palpatine? And like I said, sorry, I don't know this well enough. I never saw the last movie. I knew about the leaks before they came out, and then I was actually really, really excited to see the movie. But then when I heard the leaks were actually true, it's just so disappointing. I actually just saw a picture of Space Palpatine just this week for the first time. I had never even seen the scenes from the movie. I'm feeling out of it today. But then, yeah, last night I was seeing this scene and I saw this, and I saw a Vader in a Bacta tank. And that made me very, very, very curious. There is no 100% confirmed proof that every single time we've seen Vader on screen in all of Star Wars media, that it is the exact same person. Now that we know there's a Space Palpatine and a clone of Palpatine, and all the Snokes were just a whole bunch of series of Snokes that were all in Bacta tanks, it really means that every single time you see someone in a Bacta tank, it means they might be a brand new clone of the person. There's the clone army. There's now, Sith troopers in Rise of Skywalker. There's this thing. So this thing right here, is this the one, the only, the true Vader on his castle in Mustafar? Or is this just one of many Vaders from one of many tanks, and this is just the Mustafar Vader? Very, very interesting. So hopefully you thought this was cool too. And yeah, thanks for understanding this one. Just a short video, but hey, there's something to think about here. So yeah, thanks for watching. Leave your ideas below. And yeah, that's Krennic, but he was also Sorrento from Ready Player One, if you're recognizing him. He got a bunch of roles. He probably made so much money just doing those 2 movies. But yeah, thanks for watching. Leave any questions or suggestions. Leave this video a like if you want me to talk more about my Star Wars theories. And do you think that this thing is the one, the true, the only Vader? Or do you think every single Vader we've seen could possibly... I mean, if you're a true Star Wars fan, then ask yourself the question. So I'm completely falling apart. But yeah, if you're a fan of Star Wars, then you gotta ask yourself, you gotta truly ask yourself the question, can you confirm with 100% certainty that every moment that we saw of Vader is the exact same being? I can't say so. Disney messed up the lore, but it did make some interesting things. I would love to know what the multiple clones of Vader would actually be like. Maybe their sullen personality is the fact that they don't know exactly who they are, and they're a bit lost and they're a bit confused. They can't quite remember who they're supposed to be. Were they raised to be a Jedi? Are they still a Jedi? They can't remember. Are they a clone? Are they not a clone? Are they the real one? That would be a very interesting way to explain Vader's lack of choosing between the light and the dark. Like, he did save his son, but it took convincing. But it was a convincing that brought him back to the training of the Jedi. Yet that shouldn't be so easy. It shouldn't just take one person's convincing to make him change his mind. Vader's mind should be like set in stone. Even if it's his son saying, "Oh, please Dad, do the right thing," and Vader decides to do that, it almost doesn't make sense. But if you put the fact that every single Vader we saw might be a clone who's trying to reconcile their memories, their teachings of the Jedi Order, their family. Are they even the father? Was that even the father of Luke, or was it a confused clone that thought it was? That would be very, very interesting. So thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'll be back for another video tomorrow. Who knows what it'll be about? So stick around. There'll be another video tomorrow, and have a great day. See you in the next video.